A teacher in school one day was asking the children, what do you want to be when you leave school? And they came up with the normal answers. One wanted to be a pilot, one wanted to be a fireman, one wanted to be a nurse, another wanted to be a teacher. And then little Johnny put his hand up, and she said, "Yes, Johnny, what do you want to be?" And he said, "Possible." She said, "What, Johnny? Possible? Why do you want to be, what does that mean, Johnny?" "Well, every day my mum tells me I'm impossible, so I just want to be possible." Now, that fits in very nice with what we're going to talk about for a few moments this morning about Easter Sunday and the real lesson or real message from Easter Sunday. I think we sometimes focus on the wrong that Jesus rose from the dead. Now, don't regard me as a heretic if I say Jesus did not rise from the dead. If you listen to the scriptures, Jesus was raised from the dead. God raised Jesus from the dead. Jesus died totally human. He was totally human like us. He took on humanity totally. So the real lesson of Easter is that as a human being, Jesus submitted to God. He handed himself all over to God. Now, did he have doubts? Yes. Did he flinch? Yes. Because we remember in the Garden of Gethsemane, he said, my God, why have you forsaken me? Why have you forsaken me?" Totally human. And how often you must have said, "Where is God? Why is this happening to me? Why, God, have you forsaken me?" And how often you have asked, or you have been asked, "Where is God?" With all the terrible things happening in the world, with all the suffering and pain and trauma and tragedy, where is God? And the answer to that is right there in the middle of all the pain and the suffering. So, Jesus is our sign. Jesus is our promise. Jesus is our guarantee. Jesus is our fulfillment. And that's the real lesson of Easter. When you or I, you've got to go down before you can come up. And that's the whole message of the Passion. You've got to go down before you can come up. If you get that lesson, you'll really understand Easter and the resurrection in a whole new way. So can we make that more practical and more applicable? Yes, we can. So look at your own life. I look at my life. And every one of us here, do we not go through pain, suffering, worry, anxiety, depression, separation, a divorce, rejection? So many things happen in our lives. And it's very easy to throw in the towel and to give up. And the lesson of Easter is saying, hang in there. I am the answer. Jesus is the answer. And that's the real message of Easter. Jesus is the answer. Because no matter what you go through, no matter what suffering you go through, no matter what pain you go through, Jesus has been there before you. And you must have found in your life, because I've certainly found it in my life. You go through bad times, huh? And if I asked you, put your hand up, anybody here who's never been through a bad time? Well, if you did, you'd either be a freak or you wouldn't be normal. So we all go, but that's part of life. We got to accept the dark side of life, because life is dark and light, shadow and light. And the real message of Easter is not was Jesus raised from the dead, because that would be no problem to God to raise the dead body from the dead. The real question people ask today, and you have asked, not is Jesus God, but is Jesus for us? Is God for us? Can God be trusted? And the answer to that is a resounding yes, yes, yes. That's the answer to that question. God can be trusted. If I asked you another question, can you ever remember a time in your life when God let you down? I let God down, and probably some of you let God down, but can you ever remember a time when God let you down? No, He never does. And the beautiful message final, we finish on this: hang in there, because eventually all will be well, and all manner of things will be well. And Carl Jung once said, and it's very true, when you fail and you fall and you're down in the depths of despair and so on, then that is pure gold. Because out of those depths becomes new life. New life. That is the message. That is the message. So go around, be true Christians. Be joyful. I mean, some people go around as if they're just coming back from a funeral. Be joyful. Let people see your joy. If you really believe, you will be joyful. You will. Honestly, give it a try. It's better than any pills. Honestly. Or better than what's allowed now in this country, marijuana. Yeah. You'll get more a high from being joyful and believing that the resurrection than any drugs, marijuana, or whatever else they call it, opioids. Yeah. You don't have to be on anything. Just be your beautiful, lovely self. Amen. 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 Now, today, in place of the creed, we have renewal of our baptismal promises. So if you stand, we'll do that in a moment.